Morning, it's Barbara. That outside temperature is the temperature on the table under the umbrella because the tree it was on is gone. But they are not in the backyard. I'm allowed to have the dogs in the back, so that's great. And I am going out there and show you a little bit of what's been going on. Okay, here's the view from the deck. Now, you may not recognize the change, but there was a tree right there. And I'm kind of sad because I think we made a mistake to have them grind the stump, because this tree, this beautiful maple tree, is a copsed tree, meaning it grew out of a bigger maple that we cut down because of issues with the tree. And I think that stump would have done the same thing. So we might have had a maple there, but it's too late now. But look, they cleaned it up so nicely. And hard to see from this, there are 3 other stumps they did, but those were dead ash trees that had been taken out before, but we hadn't had the stumps ground. Look at how nicely my pepper plant is growing. I've got 3 nice peppers. They're going to be red soon. I do need to water now that we can go in the backyard. They put mats down to try not to wreck the yard, but the yard is trashed. So lots of big, giant equipment. Yeah. So we'll have to do something next spring to fix the grass. But here is the chimney. It's got its first layer of stucco, and we picked antique, I think, as the color for the final coat, but that won't be till next week. So these guys are done, but they're leaving the scaffold and they'll be back next week while we're gone, but they don't need us here as long as the water works, which it will. And here is the damage from that giant branch, or half a tree that fell. Oh, but meanwhile, we cleared behind our fence quite well, or they did. There's a big rotten tree. You can see the core was hollow. Sadly, this is a tree that the woodpeckers love. So we took down 2 woodpecker trees in this, and that I'm worried we're not going to have many woodpeckers after that. And we got this big tree, which had broken parts, and Dennis was concerned because it could hit the shed. I don't know how tall it was. I'm not sure if it could have hit the house. And this is the tree that broke. Half of it broke. And in the process of breaking, it broke our fence. So I called Manny, and he's going to come next week and fix the fence. It looks like we need 2 brand new slats and some adjustment on one because it came off. And he's going to have to replace one section of the chicken wire. So they're still working back here, but it's behind the fence, so the dogs are allowed. So this is a maple tree. They just took down, see these piles? Pulled off poison ivy. This is all poison ivy that was climbing and strangling that tree. I think we're going to need to cut some vines to make sure it doesn't come back. But anyway, so this is but you can see the yard. Well, this is where the tree came down, and I don't think that this little apple tree is going to survive. This is the Fuji. It actually got flowers this year for the first time in its life, but It's not looking perky. It got hit by the falling tree. You can hear the cicadas. So that's what's been going on here in our backyard. Now the front yard, they're taking down 2 trees and grinding those stumps and grinding a 3rd stump that was there. So I'm afraid to see the bill for this because this was all, you know, Michelle, my tree lady, who apparently isn't my tree lady. She subcontracts out the tree work. Anyway, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So that's what's happening. So the girls are allowed in the backyard now. They just have to go pick up their mats, which are piled there. And, yeah, but they're having, you know, they'll probably be working all day in the front. Got stuff happening anyway. I don't know how this is going to work out here. Maybe I need to go in. So I have, this is our dehydrator because I made crackers yesterday, but, Dennis opened them up to cool before I put them away, and then I forgot to put them away. So I'm running this for another half an hour or so just to make sure they didn't get, you know, get a little damp from being out overnight, and then they'll be done. Want to see them? I'll show you. There are 4 layers. Hold on, I gotta fix that. and you got a little glimpse of Dennis in the kitchen before he made his coffee. He's working on his espresso now. So, oh no, I made another coffee. I wasn't thinking. Well, I was thinking I'd want coffee before you were down. Anyway, you just offered me an espresso, but I have a coffee. But I'll pause. Okay, so that's going, and we'll have a brand new batch of crackers. Well, we already do, because you can eat them warm and you can eat them from the dehydrator. That top layer used to be fuller, shall I say. Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. 7 minutes in, and Dennis is having his coffee. But it's too noisy outside, so I decided to stay in. So I have to retract my grumpiness about Michelle yesterday. She did tell me they were coming on the 4th, and I completely missed that. So, yeah. The stucco guy did not tell me he was coming on the 4th. He told me he was coming last week, and then something happened, something. But meanwhile, you can see he's halfway through, more than halfway through, because the only thing left is after that cures for a week, then he comes back and does an outside coat in the color antique. Yeah. Antique. And puts the lids on the chimney, you know, and all that stuff. So that'll be done. So that's cool. So the chimney's done. The trees are going to be done. I'll give you a little tour of the front tomorrow. But yesterday was a bit of pandemonium around here. The dogs were going crazy, although they did settle down, and you can see, well, now the door's open so they can go out in the back, and nobody's in the back. I got a bug on me. So I was surprised. I shouldn't have been, but I was surprised by all everything coming. Huge trucks. I told you that yesterday. The dogs had to be in, and yeah, people drove. The stucco guy drove over the drainage field of our septic, which I was very concerned about, but it's probably okay. But they didn't any after that. Everybody was careful after that. So that's good. And yeah, but meanwhile, Dennis's mom had a procedure yesterday, so Dennis wasn't even here at the time all this started because he was with his mom at the hospital. Sadly, her procedure did not, they were trying to increase the blood flow to her foot, and they didn't think they were successful at that and didn't think they would be able to do it. And so that was too bad. But they kept her overnight. She's 94. And so now we're waiting for her to actually be released. They discharged her, or they said, you know, she can go, but they still don't know when, you know. So, which is a little frustrating. But, so we're waiting for that. But Dennis was at the hospital with his mom when this was all going on here. And then yesterday afternoon, we had to take our red car to remember 6 weeks ago, we got an appointment for the car? Well, it was for today. So we had to drop the car off last night or yesterday afternoon. Turns out it wasn't the struts. The squeak came from the shock absorbers. So they're, you know, and we need new tires and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I don't even want to think about. But we need this car all spiffy for Monday, because Monday we're going to Virginia. So, with the granddaughters. So anyway, so we were running around, and Kim stopped over after she was at the hospital with her mom in the afternoon, and waited till she got her supper and settled in, and then she came over and we talked about the situation. Had a Cosmo on our deck because we were allowed to go, you know, they left the yard in such a way that the dogs were allowed to be in last night. So these guys finished at 4 yesterday. So after 4 it was calmer here. But what a day. What a day, right, puppy? You had to stay in the house. But they did settle down. They weren't barking all day. Well, I mean, they'd erupt every once in a while, but nothing major, nothing like they were in the beginning. And they're quiet now. They're like used to these guys. So, I mean, they were barking this morning at 8 o'clock when they showed up for their work day, but they're calmer now. And they're both in the house. They're turning into air conditioner dogs because, you know, under the umbrella, which is full sun. The sun is beating down on that umbrella. It's 83. We have lost a little bit of our shade on our deck with taking down that maple tree in front of the shed. But it was a very broken tree. That was the other tree. I was telling you that one of the trees on the side and then this tree were the 2 trees that the woodpeckers liked. Because they had big, giant, dead, you know, trunks as part of their demeanor. And the woodpeckers love a big, fat, giant, dead trunk. So I'm not sure how many woodpeckers we're going to see close to the deck anymore. That's we took down the tree. I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago, we saw a pileated woodpecker on a tree outside the fence. That's the tree that just went down. That's the first one I showed you, So anyway, that's what's happening here. It feels like a lot. Today is also going to be discombobulated, but or I should end up back in her own bed tonight, and yeah, that's what should happen. And I'll let you know tomorrow how that goes. Kim is coming and, you know, just trying to figure out if she should be going to the hospital or to Fieldstone. We don't know yet. But, yeah. A lot happening. Ooh, and I ordered an 8-foot purple low balance beam for Sammy for her birthday. I need to print off a picture of that and put it in a birthday card for her because we're having a little birthday party on Tuesday, which is her birthday, at the Great Wolf Lodge. I already booked a birthday party. And so I want to give her present that day. I texted Jason. I said, I'm having this shipped to your house. How am I going to get an giant 8-foot box of from my house to his house, and why would I? So I said, I'm having it shipped. Try to keep it a secret if possible, but it is 8 feet long and with a face, and he laughed and said, I'll do my best. But I'm picturing giving her the picture of it on her birthday, and then when she gets home on Friday, that Jason will have set it up, and it would be there for her. That's my plan. I have no idea how long it's going to take to ship, but you know, it doesn't have to appear in their house until a week from Friday, and I thought that would probably be enough time. If not, then whenever it shows up, you know, what are you going to do? So yeah, the other thing I ordered last night, which was a huge splurge. Dennis's favorite is Dungeness crab. We used to get Dungeness crab very regularly when we lived in the Seattle area, and it is his favorite. And you know, Allison's a pescatarian, and Isabel claims she really likes crab, so I ordered a Dungeness crab dinner, well, just the crab, for Dennis's birthday. So it's supposed to come on Friday, and the crab should arrive on Friday, and then we'll eat it on Sunday. It should be okay. It's coming cooked. They said order it to arrive 1 to 3 days before your party, because they know this is for a party, because it's very extravagant. But I'm very excited. I'm going to need to find some place where I can buy a big thing of butcher paper, because the thing is, Dungeness crabs are very messy, and you normally just like spread the table with newspapers. We don't have newspapers. Do we have enough newspapers? Okay, we have newspapers, so I don't need to worry about getting a big roll of butcher paper or something. So I'm going to spread the table with newspapers. You need to think about what we want to have with our crab. We might not have anything else, but you know, you got to have a side, right? So so that's what I did last night to kind of do something joyful, which was, you know, plan Dennis's birthday party and order Sammy's purple balance beam. Crazy. So that's it. That's what's going on. I'll keep you posted. I'll give you a little tour of the front yard tomorrow, what they did. They're taking down 2 trees in the front. And we have one other stump out there from a previous removal, and they're going to grind that as well. And I think that's it. The one tree is a giant elm that's half dead, and so that's a big test. They started it yesterday, so I don't know. They may not have to be here the whole day today, but there's a lot of grinding to do and a lot of things to mulch and chop and shred, so we shall see. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go. I forgot my lipstick. Oh well. You'll forgive me. Please take good care of yourselves. Please, please, please stay safe and stay sane.